Hi there. Welcome to Bourbon Turntable. This is the show where we blend the love of music with the love of whiskey. Tonight, we've got three members of the band Parker Barrow with me. I'm very excited about that. We've had what? You shaking your head no.
Oh, no, we were just looking at each
other. I think I can count to three.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought, I've goofed before.
Yeah.
And I'll goof again. So I'm just like, okay, I'm 30 seconds into this show and I'm doing something wrong.
No.
Okay, so they're just screwing with me already. So this is going to be fun. All right, we'll get back to them in a minute. But first, I want to tell you about our show, Bourbon Turntable. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, subscribe there to stay in touch with what we're doing so you can see great shows like we're having here tonight. And we'll also want to tell you about Bar Cart Co-op. Bar Cart Co-op is a collection of friends who produce content for the whiskey enthusiast. We have shows like Distillers Talk with Alan Bishop and Christy Atkinson. They talk with distillers from across the country and around the world about anything and everything distilling. Alan also has a show called One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute, where if you have questions about something that you're distilling, maybe you're a backyard distiller, maybe it's your job, and you've got a question, don't know what to do, send Alan a message. He'll post a video response. He also has a show, If You Have Ghost, You Have Everything. And on that show, he'll talk about things not related to whiskey, but things in the supernatural, the spiritual, the paranormal, all kinds of weirdness and uniqueness there. It's always a fun show with some interesting guests. And My Whiskey Den with Pat and Mike and Mitch every Monday night, live, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. My Whiskey Den is where craft whiskey is king. Be sure to check them out. And finally, Whiskey in My Wedding Ring with David Levine. David is an excellent writer. He's got a great blog. He also does a wonderful podcast where he will interview distillers and people in the whiskey industry about what they are doing. So be sure to check that out. Can't make that go away. All right. Welcome back to Bourbon Turntable.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, and Alex, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start, Megan, with you and kind of introduce yourself, because you are not Parker Barrow. That is not your name.
Parker Barrow.
You're not Parker Barrow.
It's a misconception these days. I'm Megan Kane. I'm the lead singer of Parker Barrow. I met Dylan, who is my husband, about 6 years ago. And we kind of started the band together and have been on the road touring ever since, really. So about a year and a half ago, we met Alex, and he joined the band, and now we're really starting to gear things up.
Yeah. And Dylan?
Yeah, my name's Dylan. I play drums in the band. Like Megan said, we've known each other for about 6 years now. We got married just over a year ago, just celebrated our first wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you
very much. Thank you. And yeah, like she said, we just, we've been kind of living life on the road, and we've been lucky enough to meet Alex and have him fold into the mix here. And we're very thankful to be back on the show and chatting with you and having some good whiskey here in a bit.
Yeah. Now, Megan, you're originally from Alabama, right? And Dylan, you're originally from Maryland.
Correct. Yes.
And so, Alex, where are you from?
I grew up in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you're a long way from home. You're in Nashville.
Quite often, yeah. I'm not sure is up in Connecticut, but, I'm sure you can find something up there. But yeah, a few days drive at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So again, happy anniversary. And the first time you guys were on the show, I just came away with such a great impression of you both. You're just sweet people. And I'll just, every time I think of you, I think I could just adopt them because they're just wonderful. So happy anniversary. Very happy for you guys. And you've also got another anniversary coming up, and that is for Jukebox Gypsies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy that it's been almost a whole year since that album came out, and we're really excited about all of it. Got a lot of really cool opportunities from it, and it's just been a cool experience. And it's crazy that it's been almost a year.
Yeah, we were chatting before we came on here, and you mentioned it, and it was like, wait a second.
No way.
It has almost been a year.
Yeah. I think it's August, wasn't it?
August 11th.
Yep, August.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we get too deep into things, we need to have something to drink. So let's pour this Sagmore Spirit Double Oak Rye.
All right.
The old MP special.
As the bartender tonight.
This is from Sagmore Spirit, is based in Maryland. When they started, pretty much everything that they put in a bottle, they had sourced it from another distillery. But this rye actually is a blend of ryes from MGP in Sellersburg, Indiana, and from their own distillates, so stuff that they've been making on their own and aging on their own. So this is kind of a unique bottle from them.
Very cool. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, cheers.
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 Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's
you can taste that double oak.
That double
The
oak.
double oak.
Most
Yeah.
of them single. Double.
Yeah, it's got a little oakiness to it, but a lot of times the double oak will have like a campfire feel to it. Some vanilla and graham cracker and
like we're sitting around a campfire,
Yeah.
and that it's got the
But this is, again, I picked this one because of the Maryland connection there. So I hope you all enjoy the sample of that.
Very good.
So, all right, Alex, how did you meet these two?
So I had been living in Nashville about a year and a half or so before I actually met them. When I first got moved down here, I was looking for a lot of opportunities and stuff. A lot of like, the big sort of scene down here for guitars is a lot of like that hired gun sort of thing where you kind of go in with like singer-songwriters and do something for like a show or a studio session and all that. So I was looking for a lot of that stuff just because that was like, seemed like the majority of that was what was down here, but I'd always been, a band guy, like wanted to be in a band, have been in bands since high school, and I, been all over the country, lived all over the country, and that was sort of always my thing. So they got in touch with me through a website called Band Mix, I believe is what it was. And it was one of those sort of deals where it was around like mid-December, early December or something like that. So it was like, a lot of other stuff was going on. I was making travel plans to go home to Connecticut, see my folks and all that. And, I just got this email from them saying, hey, we got, a bunch of shows lined up, like a 2-week run in the beginning of the year, opening up for a guy named Tanner Ustry, up in kind of around the Southeast there. Would you be interested? And I was like, sounds cool. Send me the music and all that. So he sent me the music and all that. And I was like, yeah, man, I dig this. I'm into this. And, we had a phone call and seemed like we were kind of on the same page about everything. And then after the new year there, it was like, like a Monday or something, I drove up. We had our first rehearsal like this. And it was one of I believe the bass player for that run. He just moved into a wooden log cabin up in the woods in Gallatin or somewhere east of Nashville. And, it was one of those sort of deals where I texted my mom before I went up there, like, Mom, I don't know if I'm going to see you again. Like, I never met these people. Yeah. They seem great, but I've never met them. It's all lining up. Like, it ain't going to work well for me. But I just hopped in the car, went up there, and we had a rehearsal that Monday night. We met and jammed and everything, ran through the set. I think Tuesday, we ended up hanging out downtown Tuesday or something and stuff, seeing the show. and then Wednesday we were on the road, and I think have been on the road since. So, you know, it's been a long time, and even just in this time, it's been a lot of craziness up and down and all over the place, man, and a lot of memories, you know, a lot of you know, miles traveled, you know, and stuff. But yeah, just a little emails what started it all, you know.
So there's a like a dating app for guitar players. Yeah.
Well, all
musicians.
Yeah.
Everyone's allowed.
But it's very much akin to something in that sort of realm and stuff. And, you know, you can find some pretty great opportunities from this, but then a lot of them are also, you know,
a lot of catfishes out there too. You gotta be careful.
So, Alex, what kind of music did you grow up listening to?
I grew up when I was a kid. You know, my parents, you know, would drive us around and stuff. They always played the radio, and it was a lot. You know, a lot of the country at the time they played, which was like, you know, like Alan Jackson, those sort of like 2000, late 90s, 2000s guys. But it was a lot of rock music. With like, you know, you hear like there's a lot of guys, a lot of guitar players, like we mentioned Blake Allen before.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like that coming up now that are doing that rock music. But a lot of our stories are the same, where it's like, you know, our parents were listening to that music, driving the car, or playing around the house, and that's just what we learned and what we heard. Whether it's the nostalgia factor for us or whatever it is, whether for whatever reason it's deeply rooted in us, you know. And so it really became a lot of that rock stuff and all that. And you know, I was really into sports and stuff like early school and stuff. And it wasn't until like high school where I got real serious about music and stuff. And then that's where it sort of took off for me. But it was a lot of that, you know, classic rock, a lot of 70s stuff is really where, you know, I you know, listen.
Do you remember your first gig that you ever had as a guitar player?
Yeah. It was the one that I think was like, you know, I probably played like little like silly things here or there, but the first one for my school, we had like in high school, we had like what was called a senior project we'd have to do to, you know, graduate and all that stuff. And you know, my project had to do something with music, and there was like a component to it where you'd have to do like a charity thing or something like that. So I organized and held like this concert in our auditorium for the school and stuff. But you know, I stacked the bill. I had both the bands I was playing at the time playing, you know. And but I remember that, and that was pretty cool. That was a cool thing. That was the first time that, you know, it was like to that, at least in my mind at that point, to that magnitude, you know. And I just remember waking up the next day and I was like, if I can feel the way I felt on that stage for the rest of my life, then nothing else matters. That's what it is. That's what it's about. And so I didn't know how I was going to get to do that or how I was going to make it to that, you know, that point, but it was that was it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was mostly a Zeppelin cover set. You know, we didn't have any original music or anything like that, and we were big Zeppelin guys and still are. So that's kind of, you know, what that was. But it was a good time, and that's started. You know.
Yeah, I think I found a post on Instagram of you playing some Led Zeppelin with a double neck guitar. I have since deep dive into the musical Bible that is Jimmy Page. Well, I think most people do at some point.
Especially nowadays with, you know, a lot of bands coming out and stuff. I mean, like I said, you hear a lot of the same story about how it's that rock music from your parents, but a lot of it comes from Zeppelin too. And it's kind of cool that you hear, I mean, like one band has had such an impact, not just then, but 50 plus years later, you know?
Yeah. So, it's uncanny the number of musicians that I have on this show, and we start talking about influences, and it's Led Zeppelin's coming up, or Jimmy Page specifically, John Bonham specifically, you know. So I think I saw a story the other day where they did a poll of their one of the rock music online magazines. They did a poll of their readers to rank the best guitarist, bass player, drummer, vocalist, and it was John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, John Bonham, Robert Plant.
I remember that.
So it's just Led Zeppelin. All right.
Just Led Zeppelin.
I mean, it's a testament to them, their music, and their legacy and all that, and however the stars align for something like that to happen. I mean, will it happen again? You know, you can argue all that, but I mean, it's incredible, really, you know, stuff. So, and we're thankful for it too.
Yeah.
As musicians and people to learn from it, you know.
Yeah. Is there do you have any solo music that you've done?
There was, you got to go far down. I've tried to hide it really hard. But
we'll find it.
It's not too, you know, you don't take too much. During COVID and stuff, you know, I had been living in California, but during the lockdown stuff, I ended up moving back home with my folks in Connecticut. And, you know, towards the end of the lockdown there, I was like, man, I'm getting itchy. I got to do something, you know. And up to that point, you know, the bands I'd worked with, we all had managers and producers and stuff like that, where they handled all that stuff, all the stuff in the back. And I was like, man, that was cool and that was great. But if I want to do this to the next level, I should know like the levels of like writing, producing, recording, promoting, release. Like I should know all of this, you know. So I, you know, kind of worked up this little instrumental, which is, you know, loosely based off of some Brad Paisley stuff like that. And, you know, there's just this really cool, you know, kind of basement studio thing, but he, you know, the producer recorded all to analog tape and did all that. So it was like right up my alley. And I went in and did some sessions and had, you know, the drummer from that first show I mentioned there, he came in and played on it. We did like a little, you know, 3-minute, you know, solo single or like that. But that was it. That was the extent of my solo career. After that, I didn't take off like I wanted to. So, you know, I was like, well, we'll just push that to the back. But, you know.
Yeah, I think I may have found. No, I don't know if that's it or not, so I won't bring it up.
No,
I will check it out. So let's talk about Jukebox Gypsies a little bit. To me, it's kind of a really perfect blend of blues, country, and rock, because you can feel all those influences in there, in really all the instruments that are going on, and that makes it, I think, very accessible for a lot of people, and it makes it a lot of fun to listen to as well. And I had it rated as one of my top albums of 2023, for whatever that's worth. So which of the songs are you still excited to play live? Because you guys have mentioned a few times that it feels like you've been on the road ever since, you know, you could walk. But so you've played these songs a lot. We
haven't been playing these since before we released them. Everything. I think one thing that I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say it's by design. It's more maybe of operator error sometimes, but we play these songs differently just about every night. There's always something new, a new take, you know, like I said, whether it's on purpose or something that just happens. You know, that's one thing that I think we all appreciate about this group, is that, you know, we're not necessarily going out there, you know, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking to have a good time and for everyone else to have a good time. And we play what we feel. And, you know, we try to do the record justice. That's why we recorded it and put it out. But, you know, it's more about just jamming and having fun. So they kind of stay fresh. They stay new. You know, we work on different arrangements for, you know, different shows and stuff, different intros and outros. And we do our best to keep it fresh, you know, for as long as we need to until we are, you know, ready to put some new stuff out. So, you know, I think if I had to say my favorite to play live, right now it's probably Count Your Dollars. We do a big jam in that one live. And,
I think our record so far is like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can, it definitely, I feel like with that one, and with, like Dylan said, we've kind of taken what, like the studio, and we also want to give each night a unique show. So we apply different things and do different things and extend things and shorten things and speed things up. And it's all like it changes, ever changing with the live show. And I think that is what, as an audience member, for me, like being a consumer, I would want from my favorite band. And I think we try and approach that in the way that, like, the way we watch music, the way that we hear music, and the way that we love to listen to it and play it. We try and bring that aspect into our live show as well, which means you may get a 15-minute jam or a 20-minute jam or Probably no. There's never a chance you're never going to get no jam. There'll always be a jam.
I'm all for the jam.
Yeah.
I had a guy on the show. He's a lead singer for a band called Illiterate Light, and we were talking about how you play songs live. And he said, he says, I've always thought that I want to play it as much like the recording vocally, so that people that are listening can feel like they can sing along.
Yeah.
But I also want to make it a little bit different, so that they're getting something musically, so that they're getting something different than what they're getting on the recording. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, when I saw you guys, that seemed to be the approach you were taking, because I can sing along to all the songs, but yeah, you got some jams working in there, and that's very cool. So Alex, you weren't the guitarist on Jukebox Gypsies.
No, sir, I was not.
But so when you came into the band, how long were you playing with them till you felt like, well, I might want to do this a little differently, or make this solo a little different, or change this riff up a bit?
It's tough, because it's, a lot of the, it's hard to explain, but there's certain things, there's certain identities to songs that, if you start messing with them too much, it becomes something different, and you lose, not to say that it's going to be better or worse than what it was previous, but you lose the spirit of that song. And being that it's not something I wrote where I can feel like, okay, I can take more liberties changing my riffs around. There's a level of like respect to it too, where it's like, this is a piece of art, and the reason they did these guitar parts, specifically the guitar parts, this way or that way, that, whatever it was in the studio at that point or that time, they had a reason for doing it. I feel like you have to honor and respect that. For a lot of the parts. Then once we start doing the solos and you kind of open up and jam some stuff, then it's like, that's where you kind of have the green light to kind of like take it in your direction and put your spin on it. And I think that's cool, because it's, you have a bit of saying into something that was initially didn't have your identity into it musically, so
you're honoring the song, but still letting your personality and your style flow through it when it happens. Yeah.
Your own, not just guitar, but with the other instruments, your own style is going to come through anyways, regardless of it, because that's just how you play. Even if you're playing the same note, same chord, same guitar, everything. We talk about like tone and all this with guitar, and chasing this with gear and all that. And I mean, it really comes down to the fingers and all that sort of stuff. So even though I'm playing the same notes as Steven, the producer, did on the record, it's going to sound different. It's always going to sound different. And it's going to sound different night to night too, going back to what we were talking about before. But a lot of that old stuff, we try to honor it as close as we can. Sometimes there's some stuff too where they may have multi-tracked and overdubbed a few guitars, so you have to kind of figure out how to either combine parts or say, okay, we can't replicate this part, but it's not gonna take away from the song, right? But then some of the new stuff we're playing where I've done more guitar work on it. I certainly can, night to night switch it up, because it's always about trying something new. And then every once in a while you get like lightning will strike and it'll like just lock in really good, and you're like, it's one of those, and that's really what you're chasing, is those moments a lot of times. And then it's like, well, all right, well, I hope you remember that tomorrow night, cool,
Did anybody record that?
That's it. So. But, and then that's one of the special things too, is like having that once in a lifetime lock-in moment, in that knowing that this will probably never happen again. And that's what makes it so special in that moment. That's what makes the live show so special. Seeing that is because it's, if you record it and all that, but it's like, that's that moment, and that belongs to that moment. And the people that were listening to it, it's theirs for that moment. And that's cool. That's cool to me. That's part of like the whole, why I think, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but like why I think I do that live thing, and having that, because you're in that moment, man, and that's what it's about. Right? That's what we're all trying to do. But
I mean, there are shows that I've been to that I'm like, okay, this band's done this show 150 times, and it's been basically this every time. And then there are shows that you go to, and you know there's something special going on, either just the energy in the room or the way the people in the band are looking at each other, interacting with each other, you know something is unique about that night, that moment. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
As an audience member, that's really cool to be part of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it when you have that and stuff, and you have that sort of unknown of, are we going to land this or not? And you're kind of teetering right on the edge of those tracks.
Yeah.
That's where I think the really cool stuff happens. You know, some neat stuff can happen in that zone, in that area. There was like a David Bowie quote or something where he's like, it might not be completely pertinent, but he was like, something to the point of like, if you don't feel like you're far enough out in the water where you're drowning or you're about to, you know, you can't quite reach it, then you're not far enough out, you know? Right. And I think there's some truth to that, you know? So that's pretty cool. But, you know, also doing the rehearse show is cool too. Yeah. You know, when you have that down so perfect. I think like Skinner, who we saw last year,
so good.
You know, they probably play things pretty similarly night to night, but it's like they nail it.
Yeah,
they nail it. And you want to go and you want to hear those songs like on the record, you know. And when the band's able to do that, it's like that's cool too, you know. So it's all your personal philosophy, really.
Sure, sure. How much does the crowd affect you on the stage?
I mean, I think the crowd is one of the most crucial components to a live show. I mean, you know, it's we try to treat every show the same, and for us, it's not. We always say it's, you know, we don't need 9,000. We need 9. Like if there's 9 people in the room, even if there's one person in the room that's digging what we're doing, that's really, you know, all it takes for us. It's all about that exchange of energy. And you know, we've been doing this long enough together now that I think, you know, we are kindred in it, and you know, we feel it together, and we're able to exchange that energy on stage. And then when you add that extra element of the crowd, and you're able to pass that energy, you know, around on stage and then back and forth across the threshold, that's when you get those magical moments like he's talking about, where like it's almost numbing in a way, where it's like you reach this state of like just bliss, where it's like it's all kind of just happening, and you're just a part of it, and it's amazing. It's the most incredible feeling in the world when that happens, when you get that massive wave of energy passing back and forth, and when the crowd buys in, it makes it easier for us to buy in, and that is such a crucial part to our show.
It's pretty cool. This past year has been so different for us than years in the past. I would say from like when we released Jukebox Gypsies to now, it's been a changing world for us. This past summer, we were pretty, maybe some would say reckless in booking this tour and having a bit of audacity to go out and play these places that we've literally never played before. We took a different approach to this tour and how we wanted to run this from now on, the shows we wanted to play. And with that, we've been playing rooms where people are buying tickets to see us. We've played a lot of new cities where we've sold, like we went to Tampa, and in that room, we've never played south of like we played Georgia a little bit, but we never really played that area at all. And I think we sold like 77 tickets. And it was like, oh, what the heck? How do people even know who we are? Yeah. And we have a manager now who's really helped us with starting to promote us in that. And I think the difference with being able to approach these rooms that people are buying tickets, whether it is 9 or 900, they're coming there to see what you're going there to do. Like, and I think that's the difference with this tour that we're on currently, is that we get to go in these rooms and be the band that we want to be, like, everywhere. We may not be selling these places out. And I mean, this is our first time really doing a tour where we're selling tickets in markets all over the country. But these rooms have been awesome and helping us. And we have a lot of people on our side right now it's pretty cool to see and be able to go in these places and like just get to do what we love to do, and having those people be there for the experience, whether they know the songs or not. So it's been really cool to be able to do that this summer.
Yeah. and I like it when you're in a room and you're listening to somebody perform and they're pouring everything out of themselves when they're performing, and there are 9 people in the room, and it ought to be 9,000. That says a lot to me about who they are and about their commitment to their art. Because I think, a lot of people, small crowd, they cancel the show. but you find out really who's in it to make something special, and you guys definitely are. So let's let everybody know where they can find you guys. I want to make sure everybody knows how they can track you down. So you're on Instagram?
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, website, YouTube. We have a fan page that you can follow too called the Barrow Gang. On Facebook. So you can join that as well. You can join our mailing list too to get some little insights on everything. But that's kind of everything. Like if you type in Parker Barrow, I'm sure you can find us somewhere.
You'll find
Bonnie and Clyde
all
stuff.
Bonnie and Clyde stuff, yeah.
But and you post some great stuff on Instagram, great photos from all your shows. If you go to the website, it will list all of the tour stops and tell you how to get merch and order vinyl or CD versions of Jukebox Gypsies. So be sure to check all that out. Let's try the next whiskey.
Yeah.
All right.
This is our Alabama whiskey.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. No. You see the color of this shirt, right?
Yeah, I know.
All right. So, Alabama was a really, really bad whiskey state for a long time. They were really prominent during Prohibition. They had some great moonshiners down there, but they've not had a lot of whiskey being produced in their state. Dettling is I don't know how long they've been around, but they've been putting out their own stuff for a few years now. And this is a bourbon. It is a Bottled-in-Bond bourbon made in Alabama. Let's see, where is it in Alabama? Does it say Atmore? You know where Atmore is?
I don't even know if I know where Atmore is, to be honest.
All right. Well, cheers to Alabama.
Cheers, Alabama. I want to find out where Atmore is.
Yeah.
Yes, this has a little peppery in it. Yeah, but
that one was a little spicier than the Maryland one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think those are pretty good. So your home states did you well.
Well, thank you for sending these down for us to.
Yeah. I'll have to see what I can find in Connecticut.
Yeah.
That may be a tough
favorite. Our favorite package to get is our free Bourbon Turntable little post office package there.
Very good. Let's talk about this video thing.
Yeah.
What the heck happened here? I mean, 1.1 million views. I looked this up today because I knew it was big. I didn't remember how big, but 1.1 million views on this video. I mean, it's a great video, but how did you guys hit 1.1 million? What happened?
We chalk it up to being incredibly blessed. Not only to have people that connected with the song, but also to be able to work with some extremely talented people on the video. Our producer, the guys that shot the video for us. All in all, it was a great experience. And it goes back to that whole thing about when you have fun and you buy into what you're doing, I do think it shows, and I think people can recognize that. And I mean, we literally spent like 48 hours straight. We drove from Charlottesville, Virginia, all the way back to Birmingham, filmed the whole thing. You know, I don't think we broke down on that trip. That was nice, but you know, it was an overnight drive. We basically got to Birmingham, loaded in for the show, played, filmed some stuff after, you know, filmed some stuff before, and it's just it's been a blessing to have people connect with it and share it, and you know, everybody that was involved in it, we're super thankful for. You know, it's been a crazy experience, and you know, I don't think any of us could really put our finger on like, hey, this is what it was that made this happen, but you know, we've gotten some really neat opportunities because of it. And like Megan was talking about with the tour, you know, because we had this video surpass 1 million views, it kind of perks people's, you know, attention a little bit, and has allowed us to get into some of these rooms that typically, you know, a band that's kind of just starting out, one record in, no, you know, agency, no label, none of that type of support. You find it hard to get into some of these rooms. So that this video has really done that for us. And, you know, I think it's been an amazing thing for us, and we're very thankful and very blessed for it.
Yeah. Well, when you guys were first on the show, and when I first heard the album, I thought these are really good, and they're wonderful people. I hope that they have great success. And then when I saw you live, I thought, okay, these people are, you know, they're on a superstar trajectory here, because in all honesty, when you hear somebody with a voice like yours, Megan, when you hear it recorded, and it's incredibly impressive, expressive, powerful, great range. But by the way, do you know what your vocal range is? High, low?
I think my highest note in the studio was a high D or a high C. What was that? I was back to Birmingham.
What was that one?
It might have been that E.
I think
it was a high E.
Yeah.
I don't know what my lowest note is, but I know I have more range on the upper side than I do on the lower side.
Yeah.
So probably like,
if you count your burps though, you got some low notes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my highest was the high E.
Okay.
On the record.
But the thing is, you wonder, okay, well, is this going to translate live?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it doesn't for some people, but for you, it absolutely did. I mean, it was as picture perfect, clear as live as it was on the record, and the performance value all the way around was just exceptional. So I have a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in you guys about where you're going to be able to take this thing. So just don't forget about me, you know, when you hit it big. Okay.
I gotta tell you, Kevin, I'm 2 shots in, and I'm getting that warm and tingly feeling right now. But I do want to say, you know, you've been nice enough to reach out on occasion, just to check in, and you know, you never know what's happening and what's going on, but there have been times that, you know, right when you've checked in, it's, you know, it's been a tough week, or a gig got canceled, or something didn't go our way. And, you know, we genuinely do appreciate, you know, you checking in from time to time and wishing us well. And it does mean the world to us. And there's times where, you know, something like that is what puts the wind in our sails for the next week or month, or, you know, whatever it is, until that next thing happens. Cause, you know, we're out doing this, and, you know, it's ever changing, but also can be monotonous in ways. And, you know, we're always kind of looking for that next thing on the horizon that, you know, reinvigorates us and makes us want to go and do that. And when we're in between those things, it can get tough at times, and having people like yourself reach out and check in and just make sure we're good. It really does make a huge difference, and we're very thankful for that. So,
well, you're very welcome.
You don't have to about us. You don't have to worry about us forgetting about you. Yeah.
Well, I tell people when they come on the show, I said it's like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave, because if you're willing to take your time to sit on here and talk with me, then I'm invested in what you're doing too, and so I just want the best for you guys and for anybody that comes on here. And I know that sometimes it's tough because people see the hour and a half, 2 hours that you're on the stage, but they don't see when the van breaks down or when a string breaks or you break a drum head or somebody's just in a bad mood or doesn't feel well, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you guys have to take care of. So anyway, you guys are on tour. All right, and I took the privilege of putting the photo that we made when we saw you guys.
Hey, that's a great picture up there.
Yeah, how about that? Because we were really excited to see you all and love the show. But this episode will come out on the 24th of July. So I've put together a list of some of the places you're going to be. A couple of spots in Wisconsin, and in Chicago, Kansas City, playing Knuckleheads.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's a great venue. Have you ever been there?
We haven't.
It's been on the bucket list for a very, very long time, and again, with this record coming out, it's we've gotten to meet some people that we're very thankful that they're passionate about what we're doing, and we've met a great manager. His name's Greg Bell, with Wanted Management, and we've been lucky enough to start working with him, and now we're tapped into his network, and Knuckleheads was kind of a part of that. He had a loose connection there, and between that and some of the stuff we have going on, we were lucky enough to get a date there. It was one of the last dates we booked for the tour, and it was just like, wow, like this is happening. We're getting to go play one of our little bucket list venues, and we're super excited. I think other than DC and Philly, I think all of those spots that you just put up are brand new for us.
Birmingham.
So Birmingham too. Yeah. But, it's just, we're super excited to get to go to see some new places and new people.
We're collecting magnets currently on our fridge. So we're going to get to feel a little bit more magnets on our fridge. The states that we're going to, haven't played any of them before, so we're really excited about that.
Very cool. I've got some friends that are going to be at the Kansas City show, so that'll be good. And my wife and I will be at the Cincinnati show.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll come up and see you guys. I'm still waiting for you to come to Louisville, but
we're knocking on everyone's door down there.
All right. Well, after the show, I'll mention a spot. And,
cool.
Okay. Anyway, so this is a huge tour. I mean, you guys are hitting a lot of spots, and so how many different cities are you going to hit with what you've got scheduled so far?
Different cities.
I honestly don't know off the top of my head how many cities. I think it's
probably like 25.
20 plus.
20 plus, cities for sure. I think it's 18 states though.
Yeah, so, that seems like low for the cities, but
yeah.
How long is the tour lasting? Because you kicked this off
June of
month ago?
Yeah,
month and a half ago. Yeah.
It's been a long month. It lasts. We have dates through the middle of October. Things are going to slow down a little bit at the beginning of October, and then probably through the fall we'll slow down a bit. There's some stuff that we're working on and starting to try and knock out some new stuff. And we're trying to set aside more time off the road to get that done, to be able to hit the road really hard in 2025. So we're excited about all that.
Do you write on the road? So
Dylan, he writes all the lyrics, and don't tell his mom, but he does it mostly while he's driving. So yes, we do. He writes on the road, and then normally we get stopped somewhere, or we'll have. I mean, we all three spend a lot of time together, so we'll just try and touch on things any chance we get while we have some downtime, and then we bring it into the studio. And yeah,
it's nice. We stay at a lot of campgrounds when we're on the road. We have an RV that we tour in, and it's, a lot of times these campgrounds, they'll be, back in the woods off some country road, and we'll get in there real late at night, and you never know what it's going to be when you wake up in the morning, what you're going to see. And a lot of times we get super lucky. It'll be a beautiful pond, or, just a nice little grassy knoll, or just good, nice, beautiful country scenery to be around. And that's usually when we get a chance to kind of sit down and bring our collective ideas that, sometimes it'll be, a couple weeks or a couple months, whenever we get a chance to get around to doing it. And that's been really fun with, adding Alex to the mix with our writing, process. Him and I will sit down and be like, "Hey man, you got anything new?" And he's like, "Well, I got this. Like, I fell asleep and had a dream, and I had to wake up, and and it's a lot of times he'll play it, and I'll be like, well, I was writing this thing that, in my head it sounds a little like that, and we do this and we do that." And he's like, "If you do this and you do that," and we end up knocking something out pretty quick. And it's been a lot of fun getting to write some of these songs on the road, and have some time to marinate on them before we take them in and record them and see what they end up becoming. Because you really never know till you get in the studio.
Yeah. When you're writing together like that, is there kind of a musical second language or reference points that you use, as far as, hey, in such and such song where it goes, where you have this chord progression? Yeah, it's something kind of like that, but not quite. Are
you trying to get us in trouble?
Yeah,
no. Because I tell you what, the band that we just said was, all of their members were the top picks for everybody.
Yeah,
they ripped off everybody.
Okay. Our lawyers have advised us not to answer this. No, the influences are there.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Sure.
And I think that's what's cool. And with the last new song we just recorded, I think going into the studio, they probably those influences were probably a little bit more evident than what it ended up being recorded as, which is probably good for legality. But in all seriousness, I mean, it's there. It's hard to, because again, just going to speak for myself. I want to speak for like playing that music and that sort of stuff. That just feels good. It feels right.
Right.
So to get to write music that feels like that and gives you that same sort of, I mean, that's why you do it, is because, like, if I can play my own, like play like this kind of music but have it be mine, I mean, that's the dream, right? So the influences are there without a doubt. But I think through the production of it and just our own sound and like how I mentioned before, with just as how we physically play the instruments and all that, ends up sounding a little bit farther away than where it probably started. So
Alex definitely does. He speaks every type of musical language you could speak, and he also understands them very well. Me, not so much. So a lot of times it's like you were saying, like, like it's like this song and that song, but if you twisted it around and did this, and then he'll come back and be like, "You mean this?" And it's like, how did you do that?
But and again, I talk with a lot of people about that type of thing, and it's not, hey, we're going to take this riff and we're going to steal it. It's, we're giving a tip of the cap to the people that influenced us.
Exactly.
And we're playing our vision for this song through the filter that our musical filter, that all of the things that I've listened to and loved over the years is part of that filter.
Yeah.
And it's just going to come out.
Right. I mean, you can't really avoid it. It's what we grew up on.
Right.
Our biggest influences is the Black Crowes. And I will admittedly tell you that I'm a bit infatuated with Chris Robinson. I just think he's one of the coolest guys ever. And I listen to a lot of his interviews while we're driving and when I have downtime. And he has a quote in one of his interviews that he did where he's like, you know, all we're doing is trying to be the next note in the song. You know, music is just a continuous song. It all comes from somewhere and it all goes somewhere. Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to be a band that can contribute to that song in a meaningful and powerful way, that's, I think, the ultimate accomplishment in music. And, you know, it's like you said, taking what we've heard, what's influenced us, and putting our spin and our take on it, and just trying to be that next note in the song. And if we can do anything to pay homage to these guys that have kind of paved the way in this genre, and you know, that's part of what we set out to do. So yeah, it's elusive, I think, you know, taking these things and turning them into something new and fresh, but it's a lot of fun to get to go down that path and figure it all out. So that's all we're trying to do is just be the next note in the song.
Yeah.
So speaking of new and fresh,
that is old and
Damn, look at that haircut, dude.
What is that?
Oh
gosh, I didn't get my money back for that.
I didn't really recognize you there. So yeah, but the haircut may be old and busted, but you're gonna put a new take on Don't Tell Mama.
Yeah, so we I think we finished recording that at beginning of June, I think. And it's Don't Tell Mama What Mama Don't Know now. And we're getting it shipped off, not shipped, but sent off to LA to get it mastered by Howie Weinberg, who also mastered Jukebox Gypsy. So he's working on that song with us as well.
Awesome.
We're really excited about it. We with in the past, I guess it's been 4 years since we released that record. A lot has changed. We're definitely not the same band we used to be. And I mean, we recorded that song in one of our friends' attic in his house with just me, Dill, and our friend Trevor. And I mean, it was great. We wanted to release music. We wanted to start that chapter of our path in this whole business. But it's been a long time since then, and we want everything to sound very cohesive. And with working with Steven on this song and getting Alex to play on it, it's taken a new life for sure. And so we're going to take everything down and release that. Not everything. Jukebox Gypsy is saying.
Right.
But we're going to release this as our next single. It might just be a standalone little record just to have it out there, because people do like that song, and every time we play it, people sing it with us. So it's a part of our story, and we definitely don't want to erase history, because you can't do that, or you wouldn't have what we have today. But we are very excited about the new track and for everyone to hear it.
So are you going to redo the entire EP, or are you just redoing that one song?
Yeah, just so when we recorded Jukebox Gypsies, we had just met our producer, and that was a brand new relationship. And we talked about a lot of stuff, if we wanted to go back and revisit some stuff. And at the time, you know, we had a bunch of new songs that we had written, and we're like, you know, I don't think, you know, we really need to just yet. And our producer, you know, every now and then he's kind of brought it up, like, you know, Don't Tell Mama, I think if you guys wanted to, we could maybe do something with that. And he's come and seen a couple of the live shows, and each time he'd come out, he's like, man, I hear something, and I think it's, you know, something that I want to try to do with you guys. And you know, we were like, we trust him 1,000%. He, you know, we attribute a lot of that Jukebox Gypsies record to him being able to bring to life the ideas that we had. So we were super happy to get in and to work on something that was had come from us, but was coming from him in a brand new way, in a brand new light. And we're super happy with how it turned out. I think, you know, for me, watching him and Alex get to work together and develop some of the parts on the guitar, and you know, Steven, he plays all the bass on our records. So just, you know, getting back into that process was great. And then to have, you know, a finished product that was something and is now something completely different is exciting. And you know, it's fun. We're having a great time playing it live again. And, you know, we're just hoping people will dig it. The people that love the old Don't Tell Mama, we hope, you know, they're good with it. And the people who didn't, we hope they'll at least give this one a try and see. So
yeah. Well, that'll be great, and I'll look forward to it, because it's a really good song. But I think when you compare that to the production value to have on Jukebox Gypsies, yeah, you can definitely tell a difference.
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to how that turns out. And so you're playing, and so you did took the whole Don't Tell Mama thing and went with the What Momma Don't Know.
Yeah.
Right.
We did.
So a moment for true confessions. Yeah. What doesn't Mama know?
Well, she might be watching this, so
okay. Let me put it this way. Is there something that you may have done in your youth that Mama didn't know about that she found out sometime later?
No, your TV.
Oh,
yeah. That's
we just got back from visiting my family in Birmingham this past weekend, and there was when I was a kid, my mom, she had this rule, and we all agree now that it was a very silly rule, because I'm a sports fan. Like, I'm a big sports fan. I watch college football. I'm like all into it. But every night when I went to bed, she'd make me watch ESPN. She'd be like, "You got to turn on ESPN to go to bed. That's it. Don't change the channel. Turn on ESPN." And I would have my remote. She'd walk down the stairs. I'd flip it to George Lopez, and she'd hear the music come on. And she'd come back up, and she'd be like, "You better turn that off." So that's a very PG version of what Mama does now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty PG. Hearing what is it, Lowrider? That's a
Lowrider. That's it. Yep.
Let's put it this way. You know, you got to wait for the statute of limitations to run out.
Yeah, we're still too close.
Okay. Well, we'll well, we probably won't get into that again. So. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
That's just a non-safety thing.
All right, but there's no release date for the new Don't Tell Mama yet.
We're getting really close. We were trying to get it nailed down before we jumped on here and you know, chat it with you, but still a couple things that need to fall into place. I will tell you this is something that we haven't really talked about yet, that we can give you as a little inside scoop. We are going to do a video with it. So that's one of the things that we're still just trying to get lined up and have solidified before we're ready to announce a date. So just kind of doing some housekeeping and getting some things together, but we're definitely hoping to have it out before the end of this tour. That's the goal.
That is
great. Great. That'll be good. And of course, when it comes out, we'll promote that for you as well. So all right. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next month in Cincinnati. Congratulations on everything. I mean, the success of the tour, the success of the Back to Birmingham video, the way everything's coming together for you as a band. Just really excited for you guys and what you've been doing. So anything else that you want to make sure we know about before we sign off?
Oh man, I think we covered it, man. That was pretty good. We got through that, but
I think I would say the biggest thing is just be watching our social medias over the next month or so, and we have some exciting stuff that hopefully we'll be able to talk about and get that going. But we're in a very exciting period of this whole thing for us, and we're just excited to keep it moving any chance we get.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say to anybody that's watching or listening, go ahead and get in on this band now. Because you'll want to be able to say, I saw them win.
Yeah.
Because you just will, because they're doing great things, incredibly talented, put on a great live show. So if you're in any of these cities, and there are others, this is just a snippet of the remaining tour schedule. If you're in any of these cities, make it a point to go out and see them. You will not be disappointed. You will be very impressed, and it'll be a great evening for you. So be sure to do that. I want to tell you again about our show. Again, we are on YouTube, so you can watch us there. You can listen to the show on your favorite podcast platform. We have a Facebook page where we post all of our shows, including this one. We have a Facebook group where we will post the things that we're drinking one night and what we may be listening to while we're drinking it. And me out on the deck about a year ago was rolling through some stuff on Spotify, and I came across this band called Parker Barrow. And that's literally how what I was doing when I found you guys, and reached out and through Instagram message, and you guys responded right back, and just greatly appreciate the time that you gave me then and now, and just really love what you're doing. So
thank you very much.
Thank you for having us, Kevin.
Always happy to sit down and chat with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you all on behalf of Alex and Dylan and Megan and myself. Until next time, cheers, love, and free bird.
We might as well pour the rest of it.
I'm going to drop that one.